Hi guys, welcome you all to the webinar by Edureka. I'm Akash and I will be your coach for the journey of this particular webinar. I'm going to talk about what's our agenda for today's session and then I'll introduce myself and more things. The agenda for today's session is guys, we're going to talk about first of all why full stack developer, what is Angular, sorry, and what's new, the project setup, what is TypeScript, integrating the CSS, how Angular load component and planning the application. So we are going to talk about all the thing of the Angular, how exactly the basic of it. As example, I'll say in a more brief word, if we talk about the basic about the Angular, we are going to talk about in this particular session, and that's our agenda for the session. So guys, when I talk about Angular, it's a front-end framework. I already explained you, it's a front-end development. It's all about a part of website that use all refer to CSS framework. The package containing pre-written standardized code in a file and folder. They give us the base to build on while still allowing flexible and the final design. In other words, it's a kind of front-end framework that help to build a single page application and call as component based structure. What do you mean by single page application, guys? Single page application means see this application. If I click here on the breakfast, see guys, the page does not refresh, but the content keep on changing. When I click on the Panditji Paranta, the page does not refresh, but the content keep on changing. And when I click on place order, the content keep on changing, but the page does not refresh. This is called single page application. If I talk about tripping, every application works same. You made it Angular, you make it a React, they work in the same manner. So if I click here, if I click on this luxury, the content change page does not refresh. I click on Snowblaze or say more detail, the content change page does not refresh. What the funda they are using, guys? The funda is that basically I'll show you basically when you talk about your single page application, guys, every application that you see a one page called layout page. Okay. In that layout page, your header and your footer is common across. Your header and the footer is a common across the application when you talk about any of your single page application. In this, guys, we make a component like I have three pages: home page, I have a home component, about component, and the contact component. So now what exactly happening is, guys, when we click, so here we have a menu: home, about, contact. Okay. When you click on the home, the content of a home will load in this area. And then when we click on about, the home will go back and say, you click on about, the home will go back and about will load in this area. And on the side, if you click on the contact, so in the place of a contact, basically what happens is the about will go back and contact will load in this area. So basically it's happening in the way, guys, home, about, contact, and whenever we are just switching between the components, the content will keep on loading in this area. This is called as single page application. That is why if you see what exactly happening is the content is changing, but the page is not refreshing because this is common. This header is common and the footer remain common in the applications. And as example, I can show an example of Flipkart also. See, if I go to Flipkart, let's go to Flipkart. When I click on the grocery is the different website altogether. I'll just click on the mobile. See guys, the content of the mobile will load differently, but the page does not refresh. Suppose choose hair dryer, the content will change, but the page does not refresh. Even we choose any filter, say above 4-star. So ultimately, again, the content will change, guys, but the page is not refreshed. This is called a single page application, and that's what the Angular makes. So guys, now on the other side, we'll talk about this. Angular is basically, guys, backed by Google. That is why it is so powerful and so much in demand. Because see, when something is, I'll say most powerful, when something is altogether demanding, then it is used in a more number. So same goes here when we talk about Angular. Angular is quite demanding, guys, because in the terms of Angular, it is backed by Google. It's just like that, guys. If we have to buy something now, we always prefer to buy something which is very particular or backed by good thing. As example, if I buy a TV, our first choice will be Samsung, Sony. If you have some constraint of budget, then only we go for a MI or the OnePlus. because we know going with Samsung Sony is a better option, because on that side you get the better opportunity in the terms of that this is going to be in the way that you're going to grab the things in a more better sense, because you get a more functionality, you get a more support. Suppose your Samsung TV goes have some problem, you can get it fixed easily. There's an MI TV problem, it becomes difficult to manage. So in other words, if I talk about, it's going to be in the way that these are something which are backed by a good companies, so get a better support for that. Now, what's new in this latest version of Angular, guys? One is called IV rendering. IV is a kind of an engine they have introduced. It's a next generation engine, and all version above 8 have that IV rendering, guys. And with this IV rendering, now we get a more support in application building. We get a more faster application. So what it do? First of all, IV rendering next generation compilation and rendering pipeline will reduce the bundle size. Basically, the problem with Angular is that it make a very big application bundle size. So now the size has reduced a lot. And with the IV rendering, right now it's experimental mode in Angular number 8. But now in a 10, now it's a full-fledged version you can use. Second thing they add is called Bazel Engine. The Bazel Engine. Now what the Bazel Engine do? This is a kind of a new engine they do. They say it's a Google open source, and it's a quite pending thing from a long time, guys. From a long back, this is a kind of one of the pending thing that is required called Basal Engine. This particularly Basal Engine will ultimately create in terms of that this is Basal is a powerful tool to keep a track of difference between the package and build target. The coolest feature of Basal is that it is smart algorithm to determine the build dependencies. Overall, see, I'll tell you, when people say, "Array sir, new version of Angular came, which version should we learn?" I'll tell you one thing, guys. You don't have to worry about any new versions are coming there, right? Although yes, they are coming, but you don't have to worry about much of it. The reason for that is because, guys, the new version when they came, the main thing they're doing is they're trying to make application more or more lighter. They're trying to create application more or more lighter rather than changing a code. They have a very good amount of backward compatibility, and that's the best thing about Angular. Guys, the problem in React, I'll tell you, very recently, the React have one thing called routing. Okay. The routing got upgraded to routing 6. We are using a routing 5 now, routing 6. You know one thing, they have no backward compatibility, and now the code got break. If you have the routing 6, we have to change our code, else we have to go stick to routing 5. The Angular, the best part is that although they're upgrading their versions, but the best thing is they're giving a proper backward compatibility. Means the backend code will not change. So the code in the Angular 6 still work with the Angular 8. It's just like that. You want to add a new features, you can add those features of Angular 8. But you want to stick to old features, you can still use that. And one more thing, there's one thing called as your differential loading. So differential loading is that it's help to perform the when a user load application, they automatically get a bundle they need. So basically what happens, guys, suppose I'm loading the application on different devices, okay, or your IE running and running on a Chrome. Now it give a problem, but with the differential loading, this problem has solved. It automatically check that on which browser you're loading, and accordingly it load the bundle on that browser. That's the best part of this. Now, how exactly to set up one project of Angular, guys? It's very simple. First step is the Node.js must be installed in your system. That's the first thing, guys. Okay. Now, when you talk about the Node.js, guys, so why we need that? Understand. Like you must have heard one thing called Tomcat, Apache, XAMPP, WAMP, IIS, like that. What are those? Those are basically the servers, right? Those are basically the server to run the application. In a similar manner, guys, to run the JavaScript project, whether it's Angular or a React or a Vue or a Backbone, we need the compiler, and the compiler is Node.js. Node.js provide its own compilation, and with the help of Node.js, guys, we can compile this app, guys. With the help of Node.js application, we can compile this app. But the best part here is once your application got compiled, okay, suppose you're done with the development, now you want to take it live. If you want to take it live, what you can do is you can simply use this particular I'll say you can use any server. I say your in terms of I'll say XAMPP, WAMP, whatever you want to use, you can use that. But at time of development, So ultimately, at the time of development, guys, you need to have your Node.js in your laptop. Once your development is complete, now you want to take it live, you can run that application over the any server that you want. So Node.js must be installed in your laptop. Okay. Now, next thing what you have to do, you have to install one global package. Okay. You have to install one global package, and that is npm I minus g. So what exactly I do, guys? First of all, you need to install one global package. The reason for that is what you need. Why you need to install that is because, guys, you need to create multiple app. Okay. As you want to create the multiple app, first of all, guys, you should install Angular hyphen CLI or Angular CLI. That stands for Angular Command Line Interface. Or how exactly we write is we just write at the rate Angular, multiple way to write it, slash I. This is a global package you need to install, guys, in your laptop first. Now, no need to go in any folder. From any folder you can install it. Now, after this, where go in the path. So how you do this? Open the normal command prompt. So what we'll do is just open the command prompt window, people. Open command prompt as administrator and just write a command npm I minus g angular slash CLI. First step. Second step, guys. Now close this command prompt. No need of this command prompt. Say close CMD. I'll give you the steps. Don't worry, guys. Next thing that you should do is, guys, now you have to open new CMD. Not as administrator, normal. Open new CMD. Now go to the folder where you want app. Go to the folder where you want app, guys. We don't want to generate the app. Go in that folder using CMD, using command prompt only, and write a command ng space new and the app name. Just now I did that also. Ng space new and the app name. When I did this, guys, this app will generate in your laptop. I think something got break in my laptop. Okay, we'll see is it got generated. What the name we have given to app? ng app. Okay, we are there. Let's just try to run this. To run this, write npm start. Ng serve or npm start both mean the same thing, guys. You had ng serve or npm start both mean the same thing. When you do that, the default port number over which this Angular run is localhost 4200. Okay, the default port. So now go inside the app folder. Go inside the app folder. And just write there npm start. After app generate, write npm start. So if your application got generated properly, then it automatically run that on the port number 4200. The default port number over which it run. I think while generating the application, I got some error. So I'll do just one thing in the meanwhile. Might be my Angular CLI version is old. So I write sudo npm I minus g @ Angular slash CLI. So first of all, guys, I install this CLI and then after this we generate the app. But yes, if you try, it will work. If doing first time, it will very easily work for you. Let me give this all the step to you. Perfect. While it's doing, we jump to next thing. Now, the next thing is, guys, what is TypeScript? Basically, TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. As a simple example, I'll show you. Suppose, guys, I am writing normally where a equal to 10, right? This is a normal JavaScript you write, guys, where a equal to 10. But If same thing have to be done in the TypeScript, I have to typecast it. Typecast means, guys, you have to tell that what kind of a data it hold. So what kind of a data it hold, you have typecast it. Let's just generate once again. And how to do a typecasting while it's generating? I'll show the typecasting also. See, you have to say a colon number. We have to tell that it's a of a type number. This is called typecasting. This is what you do with TypeScript. With everything that you define, you have to typecast it. It's a TypeScript is a strongly type object oriented compiled language. It is designed by Andrews at the Microsoft. TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, and the best thing is it is designed by the Microsoft, guys. So the one who is using a .NET, now they are doing it. Now, what is the structure of learning when it comes to Angular? I'll talk about your Edureka. Guys, Edureka way of teaching is very, very different. Here, guys, everything that you're going to learn will be done in a more practical way. As an example, if I show you any of my Angular batch when we do a training, so what we do, guys, we are going to teach you every single thing in detail. So let me just open my, because sometimes we get Angular batch, sometimes we get a React batch. I think, like, I'll just go back to my Git. I'll show you guys, we are going to make a multiple application with Angular. Have a look. So we'll go here and I just search here Angular. I'll show you any of my Angular batch. Although it's done in the August also. In the August batch, I might have September batch, I might have that folder. But somehow I don't see. Might be I've deleted from this folder, this location. Okay, from here we can see. First of all, you are going to make a one app with a complete full-fledged app just like Zomato with every single thing of Zomato, guys. Every feature of Zomato you are going to develop in this course. You want to see that how exactly that app look like? I will show you also. In this course, guys, it's going to be all real-time development. You're going to learn every single thing in the proper real time. So I'll show you one example of that app, guys. So see this Zomato. Is gonna proper functionality of Zomato you're gonna learn. See, every feature is there. First of all, you go to login, you have option to log in with Google, log in Facebook, and everything you're gonna learn. Everything you're gonna learn. After login, your name start coming on a top, whatever name you give. After that, your option, your location, respect to location, you get all the restaurant of that location. You got the detail of the restaurant, proper image gallery, and then, guys, place the order, add the item to the cart, then a shipping detail. And on the side, guys, after that, payment gateway integration means every single feature you're going to develop in this application. Then the login with JWT, login with a third party, your reactive form, your template form, your React with a multilingual, every single thing, guys, you're gonna build, and they're all are the application you're gonna develop in the real time. You're going to develop this application, guys, in a proper real time. Even I show the more latest folder to you. This is a little old folder. If I show more latest folder to you, because Git also sometimes keep on upgrading these folders. So if I show some latest folder which is more latest, here, guys, see, as I mentioned that you're gonna do multilingual unit testing, everything, guys, you're gonna work here. Everything means everything you're gonna make, and on every single thing you're gonna work. Testing form, login form, mean, reactive form. So every application you're gonna make, and they're all the real application you're gonna design with Angular. Here, guys, in this structure, it's gonna be in the way that first of all, you start with the basic of Angular, and every session is having a hands-on. Then you will learn how to build our components. Then you will learn how to do a hands-on data binding with hands-on Angular directive and type with hands-on, and Angular services, dependency injection, and RxJS, HTTP.
calling the API, forms, not a one form, reactive form and template form both, navigation in Angular, validation, login, logout, payment gateway, every single thing with a proper hands-on, you're gonna work in the Angular. And after that, testing and deployment. At the end of the day, your proper live application with you. Now, the application we generated, guys, if I run that application localhost 4200, so we'll see is it application started for us. Okay, it's not yet started. Just start this. Once it started on local for 200, we'll run, and I'll show you how any component look like, how to add the CSS to that component. So in the application run, guys, first time it's gonna build of that and keep upgrading that build automatically. You don't have to make anything. Once you start the server, you don't have to make a change every time. It just keep on running automatically. Just make a change the code, refresh the browser, it will reflect. Okay, it started. Now we go to 4200. See the Angular 2 app is running. How it look like? Let's open the folder structure also, guys, here. So open the folder. We'll go to the desktop, Angular app 2. Now, here, guys, if I show you, see, this is a structure look like in a SRC folder. There's one thing called app. In the app, you have the component. You have the component like this. Here, guys, in this, basically the HTML is different and your TS means TypeScript is different. If I go to HTML, an example to show you also, here at the top it's in a Angular app. Just close this one. If we run this application on top of the browser, ng2 app. Now, if I want to change to Edureka app, I'll go in the HTML. Although here the CSS is written inside the HTML only, but we try to keep a CSS also separately, guys. How? I'll tell you. So on the top heading, it say app is running, right? Now the title is in the TS file. Here say Edureka app is running. Now when I refresh it, and just refresh, you'll say Edureka app is running. You see, guys? Here in this, there are three different files. One is a TS file, one is HTML file, and one is CSS file. TS, HTML, and the CSS. How we link them together? Spec file you can ignore. It's just for testing purpose. We can ignore this text. Say spec file. How they're linked together, guys? Here we give a template URL. In a template URL, we specify the URL of our HTML file like this way. And what we can do? The CSS is here itself. Correct? I don't want a CSS to be part of it. So particularly, guys, I'll take this whole CSS out of it. My HTML code become little less now, and we can put this a separate file. I don't have to link it here. No need to link it here. You see, automatically our file become now smaller because CSS separated and HTML separated. And how we link that together? Here we give the style URLs, because to one component you can have multiple CSS, but to one component you don't have the multiple HTML. Each component have its own HTML and can have multiple CSS there. See, this is now I change the CSS, still it is working absolutely perfect. So as a Edureka Angular now, if we refresh it, that reflection will be showed to you. See here. Right? You want to generate a new component, a simple command, ng space g space component name. With this, the new component will generate. There's a lot to learn, guys. Obviously, in 1 hour, no one can learn the Angular in detail. In our next 40 hours, when you come to our session, guys, we'll teach you every single thing in a proper detailed manner. As I mentioned, guys, you have to make in a terms of like you make a one main component called layout page, then on the top. So basically it's like that. This act like my main component. Suppose I make any other component. I'll say home dot or say header dot component dot any name I can give. Header dot component.ts. Okay. To start me a component, guys, I kept here your HTML separate. Suppose I can add a HTML here as well. How? Here we give a name as app home. You have to give some name here, and particularly I'll just say here template. In a backtick, I can start writing. I say h1 tag, say webinar 20. The coupon code I'm writing as example. Okay, webinar 20. Now, when you make any component, guys, you have to give a name to that. Suppose I say here home, a header component. And this header component, particularly, you have to declare that. Every component that you create, guys, you have to first of all declare the component in the main module called app module. And now wherever you want to use it, you have given the name as here app home. Correct? We go to the app component.ts or say HTML. Suppose here now on the top of my page, I want to use this component. I simply say app home. We go back and refresh. So on this page, we got printed. We'll see. So we just write here one template and app home, and then we go to the app module. We declare our component and we go to the app component.ts. Here nothing required, and in the app.html we can directly start using it. And this is the main component name is here. We give a name as app root, and where it is declared in the index.html we declare app. Might be becoming small, or we refresh it, you start appearing. And one more thing, we can do one more thing here. That is app.component.ts we specify na in HTML. Somewhere in the middle also we can specify. Might be is taking this whole space altogether. Somewhere here we can put it. And for data binding, guys, we use the double curly bracket like this way. And from where this data come? This data will come from the TS file. From a TS file you can pass it, and the HTML file you can bind it. This is called data binding. And there's a routing available. You can add a route here. You can specify when you go to this place, load this page. Obviously, guys, a lot of things to learn, but we cannot learn everything in the one single go. Thanks a lot for joining, and yeah, hope to see you soon in a session. And from there